G'day from the land down under, Australia. It's big, it's hot. It's got more things that can kill you than a Clint Eastwood movie marathon. But don't worry, it's also got adorable koalas, beaches that go on for days, and a sense of humor drier than the Outback in a drought. Australia is massive, we're talking a whopping 2.97 million square miles. You could fit about 40 Rhode Islands in there and still have room left over for a Texas or two. You want stunning beaches? Check. Rugged mountains? Check. Deserts that'll make you sweat just thinking about them? Check, check, check. One minute you could be scaling the majestic peaks of the Blue Mountains, and the next you could be sipping cocktails on Bondi Beach, watching surfers carve up waves. So, whether you're an adrenaline junkie, a beach bum, or just a curious traveler looking for something truly unique, Australia's got something for you. So, pack your bags, slap on some sunscreen and maybe some insect repellent, and get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. Let's be honest folks, one of the main reasons anyone goes to Australia is to see the wildlife, and boy oh boy, does Australia deliver on that front. First up, we've got the kangaroo, Australia's answer to the deer. These guys are jacked, they can leap over small cars, punch with the force of a heavyweight boxer, and they're always up for a good boxing match, especially during mating season. Then there's the koala, the furry little creature that's basically Australia's ambassador of cuteness. They look like cuddly teddy bears, but don't be fooled by their adorable exterior. They've got claws that could rival Wolverine, and they spend most of their day sleeping off eucalyptus hangovers. But wait, there's more. Down under, you've got wombats that poop cubes, seriously Google it, platypuses that look like someone glued a duckbill onto a beaver, and cassowaries, which are basically giant flightless birds that could take you down in a fight. And let's not forget the saltwater crocodiles, the largest living reptiles on Earth. They make those alligators down in Florida look like geckos. So, yeah, Australia's wildlife is pretty darn amazing. Just remember to admire them from a safe distance, okay? Australia. It's not all just kangaroos and koalas hopping about, folks. Sure, the wildlife is amazing, but this country's got variety that'll make your head spin faster than a dingo on a sugar rush. Let's start with the cities, shall we? Sydney, Melbourne, these are world-class metropolises that can rival any big city on the planet. You want towering skyscrapers? Got 'em. Trendy cafes with avocado toast that costs a week's rent? Check. World-renowned museums, art galleries, and theaters? Oh, you better believe it. And don't even get me started on the nightlife. Let's just say Australians know how to party. Venture beyond the city limits, and you'll find yourself in the Outback, a vast expanse of rugged beauty that'll make you feel like you've stepped onto another planet. We're talking red dirt plains that stretch as far as the eye can see, ancient rock formations that'll make you feel insignificant, and a silence so profound you'll hear your own thoughts for once. Australia is a country that begs to be explored, so rent a car, hop on a train, or even better, saddle up a kangaroo. Just kidding, please don't try that. And discover all the hidden wonders this incredible country has to offer. Now let's talk about the people, because no exploration of Australia would be complete without mentioning the folks who call this sunburnt land home. Australians are a diverse and fascinating bunch, shaped by a unique history and a love for all things laid back. First and foremost, we gotta give a shout out to the Aboriginal Australians, the original inhabitants of this land. Their culture is one of the oldest surviving cultures on Earth, dating back over 65,000 years. They've got a deep connection to the land, a rich tradition of storytelling and art that'll blow your mind. If you get a chance to experience an Aboriginal cultural tour, do it! It'll change the way you see the world. Over the centuries, waves of immigrants from all corners of the globe have made Australia their home, bringing with them their own traditions, languages, and flavors. This melting pot of cultures has created a vibrant and dynamic society that's both welcoming and exciting. And Section 5, Sydney Opera House, more than just a pretty shell. Alright folks, let's talk about one of Australia's most iconic landmarks, the Sydney Opera House. You know the one, it looks like a bunch of giant white sails billowing in the wind. It's been featured in countless movies, TV shows, and postcards, and it's about as synonymous with Australia as kangaroos and Vegemite, more on that later. The Sydney Opera House is a symbol of Australia's creativity, its ambition, and its ability to pull off architectural feats that make engineers scratch their heads and say, how did they even... The original architect, a Danish guy named Jorn Utzon, actually quit the project before it was finished due to all the shenanigans. But in the end, they got it built. And thank goodness they did. Because the Sydney Opera House is more than just a pretty face. It's a world-class performing arts venue that hosts over 1,500 shows a year, from opera and ballet to rock concerts and stand-up comedy. So, next time you're in Sydney, do yourself a favor and check it out. Take a tour, catch a show, or just stand back and admire its beauty. It's an experience you won't soon forget. Section 6, Melbourne, where coffee is king and culture is queen. Now let's hop on over to the other side of the country, figuratively speaking of course, to Melbourne, Australia's second largest city, and a place that holds a special place in my heart. Why, you ask? Well, for starters, they take their coffee very, very seriously. And I, for one, am a big fan of a good cup of joe. But Melbourne is much more than just a caffeine addict's paradise. This is a city that oozes cool from every laneway and rooftop bar. It's a place where street art isn't vandalism, it's high art. It's a city where you can catch a world-class play in a former bank vault, or stumble upon a hidden speakeasy serving up cocktails with names like the Fitzroy Flip and the Yarra Valley Sour. Melburnians are a passionate bunch, especially when it comes to sport. They're obsessed with Aussie rules football, a game that's best described as rugby on steroids, and they're not afraid to let you know it. So what are you waiting for? Book that flight to Melbourne, grab a flat white from a local barista, and get ready to experience a city that's as stylish as it is sophisticated, as edgy as it is charming. Section 7. Beyond the tourist trail, unearthing Australia's hidden gems. Okay folks, I know what you're thinking. Stephen, you've told us about the big cities, the iconic landmarks, the cute and cuddly animals, but what about the hidden gems? The off-the-beaten-path adventures? Well, my friend, you're in luck. Australia is chock full of hidden treasures just waiting to be discovered. So, put away your guidebooks, ditch the tour groups, and get ready to explore. Let's start with Ningaloo Reef, Western Australia's answer to the Great Barrier Reef. Swim alongside whale sharks or snorkel with manta rays. Next, Kakadu National Park, home to ancient rock art and cascading waterfalls. And for a quirky adventure, visit Coober Pedy, the opal mining capital. This underground town is like something out of a Mad Max movie. Section 8, Outback Adventures, where the wild things are and so are the flies. Alright folks, it's time to dust off those hiking boots, slap on some sunscreen, and venture into the heart of Australia, the Outback. Now I'm not gonna lie, the Outback can be a harsh mistress. It's hot, it's dusty, and the flies are so persistent, you'll think they've taken up permanent residence on your face. But it's also a place of breathtaking beauty, ancient wonders, and adventures that'll stay with you long after you've brushed the red dirt off your boots. You can hike through canyons carved by ancient rivers, camp under a sky bursting with more stars than you ever thought possible, or go off-roading in a 4x4, bouncing over sand dunes and splashing through creeks. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can even try your hand at camel riding. That's right, camels. Turns out, Australia has a surprisingly large population of feral camels, descendants of the animals brought over during the 19th century. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like riding a camel through the outback, the sun beating down on your back, the wind whipping through your hair, and the only sound, the gentle jingle of the camel bells. It's an experience that's both surreal and unforgettable. Section 9. A Taste of Australia. From Vegemite to fine dining. Now, let's talk about something near and dear to my heart, food. Australia's culinary scene is as diverse and exciting as the country itself. From fresh seafood and barbecued meats to innovative fusion cuisine, and yes, even Vegemite. No trip to Australia is complete without trying Vegemite, the salty, yeasty spread. It's an acquired taste, like fine wine or stinky cheese. For a true taste of Aussie barbecue, head to a local pub and order a plate of snags with onions, or treat yourself to a seafood platter piled high with fresh oysters, prawns, and lobster. And let's not forget about the coffee. Australians take their coffee very seriously, turning it into an art form. Aussie Slang 101. Understanding the lingo. Brush up on your Aussie slang before venturing off the beaten path. Australians have a way with words that's both charming and confusing. G'day is the standard Aussie greeting, like aloha. Mate is an all-purpose term of endearment. Struth is an exclamation of surprise or disbelief. Barbie means barbecue, a national pastime. Thongs are flip-flops. No worries embodies Australia's laid-back attitude. Section 11. So, you think you can handle Australia? Well folks, there you have it. A whirlwind tour of Australia, from its iconic landmarks and stunning natural wonders to its diverse culture, delicious cuisine, and of course its unique and sometimes baffling slang. It's a country that's both familiar and exotic, comforting and exhilarating all at the same time. Australia is a land of contrasts, a place where you can find yourself sipping cocktails in a rooftop bar one minute and trekking through an ancient rainforest the next. So what are you waiting for? Book that flight, pack your bags and your sense of adventure, and get ready to experience all that Australia has to offer. G'day and see you soon, mate.